Let's start with a scary thought. Think about the one person in your life who represents absolute safety.
Hmm.
The person who, if the world was falling apart, would be the one holding the umbrella over your head.
Yeah.
Usually that's a parent or a child. It's a biological imperative.
It is. It's completely evolutionary. It's hardwired into our survival instincts. You trust the tribe, you trust your immediate family, because for thousands of years, that was the only way to survive.
Exactly. But what happens when that instinct glitches?
Oh.
Or even worse, what happens when someone knows you have that instinct and decides to, well, weaponize it against you?
Oof.
Today, we are unpacking a story that is going to make you want to hug your loved ones a little tighter, but also maybe double-check your bank accounts.
It is a brutal case study. We are looking at the story of Linda Parker. And I have to say, going through the source material for this one, it felt less like reading a case file and more like, I don't know, watching a slow-motion car crash.
Yeah.
You can see the impact coming, but you just can't look away.
It's such an emotional roller coaster. It starts with this really heartwarming reunion, the kinds you see in those viral videos, and then it just pivots into a crime that is so cold.
Ice cold.
And then, just when you think you know the moral of the story, there is this twist that just completely flips the script on justice and fate.
And that twist, it raises some really difficult questions about truth. Is honesty always the best policy? Or is there such a thing as a merciful lie?
Right.
We are going to get into all of that. But to understand the ending, we really have to understand where this all began. We have to understand the anatomy of the betrayal itself.
So let's set the scene. We are in Brighton. We are looking at the life of Linda Parker. She is 59 years old. What does her world look like before the storm hits?
Quiet. That is the word that just jumps out from the notes. Linda has been a widow for 8 years. Her husband passed away, and she is living alone in this small house that used to be full of life, but is now just full of memories.
The sources describe her routine, and it's just heartbreakingly simple. She wakes up, she cleans a house that isn't really dirty, she cooks meals for one person. It's a life in stasis.
And the centerpiece of that life is her son, Daniel. He's our only child, but he isn't there.
No.
He's living in Canada. And from what we can gather, he is living the high life. Big house, successful career, a wife named Sarah, 2 kids. He has everything Linda doesn't. Family, noise, a future.
And the relationship is totally lopsided.
Yeah.
I mean, Linda's obsessed with him in a loving, motherly way. She has his photos everywhere. She dusts them every day. But Daniel, he's a ghost.
It's a classic case of unrequited attention. The notes mention that he rarely calls, and when he does, it's always so vague. I'll visit soon, mother. I'll come next year. It's what psychologists call future faking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he promises a future connection just to avoid a present obligation.
But Linda hangs on to those crumbs. She is living for the idea of him.
Yeah.
And that isolation, it creates this massive blind spot. She is so starved for connection that she isn't looking for red flags. She's just looking for a lifeline.
Which is exactly what makes the inciting incident so powerful. It's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, just a normal gray day, and there's a knock on the door.
Can you imagine? She opens it, and there he is, Daniel, in the flesh. Not a voice on the phone, but her boy.
And Linda's reaction is just pure instinct. She doesn't ask why he's there. She doesn't ask why he didn't call. She just cries. She hugs him. The relief is just palpable in the narrative. The waiting is finally over.
And Daniel plays the part perfectly. He doesn't stand there awkwardly. He leans into it. He wipes her tears. He says, I missed you, mother. He checks every single box of the good son.
But here is where we need to look closer at the behavior. Because he doesn't just show up to say hello. He shows up with a narrative. Almost immediately, he starts shifting the frame. He starts expressing concern.
Right. He says things like, I worry about you living here alone. Which sounds nice, doesn't it? It sounds like love.
It mimics love. But it's actually the setup for a pitch. He starts pointing out the flaws in her life. The house is old, mother. It's not safe for you to be alone at night. You're getting frail. He is systematically dismantling her confidence in her own independence.
He's making her feel small so he can be the one to save her.
Exactly. He creates a problem. You are vulnerable and unsafe, so that he can then sell the solution. And the solution is Canada.
The utopia. He paints this incredible picture. Come live with us. You'll have your own room. You won't have to cook or clean. You'll see the grandchildren every single day.
He even throws in his wife, Sarah. He says, Sarah really wants you to come. He is building this fantasy world where Linda is not just tolerated, but she's needed. And for a woman who hasn't felt needed in 8 years, that is an intoxicating drug.
But Linda does hesitate. I think that's a really important detail. She doesn't just say yes immediately.
No, she resists because of the house. That house in Brighton isn't just real estate to her, it's her entire history. She was born there, she got married there, her husband died there. The walls hold her entire identity.
So leaving the house means admitting that that part of her life is over.
Right, so how does he break her down? Because she does eventually agree to sell it.
He applies pressure. He likely uses guilt. If you stay here, you're choosing the house over your grandchildren. And eventually, the promise of connection just outweighs the comfort of the familiar. She capitulates.
She agrees to sell.
And this is the moment where the trap just snaps shut. The house is sold. It's a significant amount of money. And who takes the cash?
Daniel. He takes every penny.
Now, looking at this from the outside, red flags are waving everywhere, just everywhere. But why does Linda hand it over?
Because in her mind, they are one unit now. She is moving into his house. He is the head of the household, so why wouldn't he manage the finances? She isn't thinking like a victim of a scam.
No.
She is thinking like a mother who trusts her child implicitly. She views this as them pooling their resources for their shared future.
So the money is gone, the house is gone, her belongings are packed into a few suitcases, they get a taxi to the airport, and the source describes Linda's emotional state as this mix of grief and excitement. She's sad to leave her home, but she's so happy to be with Daniel.
She has burned the ships. There is no going back now. She is fully committed to this new life in Canada.
They arrive at the terminal. It's busy, it's loud.
Yeah.
And Daniel stops her. He says, "Mother, the walk to the gate is really long. You wait here. I'll go find a wheelchair so you don't have to walk."
It's such a plausible excuse. It fits the narrative he's been spinning all week, that she is frail, that she needs his help. He says, "I'll be back in 5 minutes."
And he walks away. Linda finds a bench. She sits down with her carry-on bag. And the clock starts ticking.
This creates what I call the timeline of terror. Because at 5 minutes, you're fine.
Right, no problem.
Maybe he stopped for coffee. Maybe the line for the wheelchair assistance is long.
10 minutes pass. She's probably watching the crowd looking for his jacket.
20 minutes. 30 minutes. Now, the physiological response is kicking in. Your heart rate goes up. You start checking your ticket. You start looking at the departure board.
But she doesn't move. She stays on that bench.
Because he told her to. And because moving implies that something is wrong.
45 minutes. An hour.
Now she is in full panic mode, but it's a specific kind of panic. It's denial-fueled panic. She is telling herself, he got lost, he's looking for me, he wouldn't leave me. Because the alternative
He abandoned her.
is just too psychologically devastating to accept. It would break her mind.
She is sitting there, clutching her ticket and a photo of Daniel, scanning thousands of faces. She is completely alone in a crowd of people.
And this is where the hero of our story steps in, Officer Robert Miller.
Thank goodness for Robert. He's patrolling the terminal. And he notices her.
He notices the distress. Police are trained to look for behavior that stands out. Someone sitting alone for an hour looking frantic, clutching a photo, that's a signal. He approaches her.
And Linda immediately spills everything. She says, "I'm waiting for my son. We are going to Canada. He went to get a wheelchair." She shows him the ticket. She shows him the photo. She's desperate for reassurance.
Robert takes the information. He tells her to stay put, which he's already doing, and he goes to check the flight status and the passenger manifest. And this is the moment where the story shifts from a family drama to a tragedy.
Robert comes back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a wheelchair. And he doesn't have Daniel.
He has the truth. And it is a brutal truth. He sits down next to her, which is a key detail. He gets on her level and he tells her, "Ma'am, the flight to Canada has already departed."
And Linda? She
Yeah.
just can't process it. She argues with him. "No, my son is on that flight with me. He has my ticket."
Robert has to be the bearer of the ultimate bad news. He tells him he boarded the plane and he boarded alone.
That specific detail, he boarded alone. That is what just destroys her.
It proves premeditation. It proves that he didn't get lost. He didn't get hurt. He walked away from her, walked to the gate, scanned his passport, and sat down in his seat, knowing his mother was waiting on a bench with nothing.
No home, no money, no son.
Linda breaks down. The source says she just shattered. She's crying, saying, "My son loves me. He wouldn't do this." It's the death of her entire worldview.
And Robert,
Yeah.
he watches this happen. And instead of just calling social services or walking away, he stays. The transcript says he starts crying with her.
He says something really profound here. He says, "Some people forget their hearts."
That's, it's such a gentle way to explain evil. He doesn't call Daniel a monster, even though he's acting like one. He frames it as a loss of humanity. But Robert remembers his own humanity.
He does. He tells Linda that she reminds him of his own mother, who passed away 5 years ago.
So he sees a connection. He sees a chance to do something good in a terrible situation.
And he makes an incredible offer. He invites her to his home.
Which is wild. I mean, a police officer taking a stranded victim to his personal home, that's breaking every protocol in the book.
It is. But he calls his wife, Olivia. And this is where you see the difference between the families. Olivia doesn't ask about liability or cost. She just says, yes, bring her.
So Linda leaves the airport. She has lost her past, her son, her future in Canada. But that night, she is sitting in a stranger's kitchen, eating a warm meal, being treated with dignity.
It's such a stark contrast. The biological son threw her away like garbage. The stranger picked her up and treated her like gold. It forces Linda and us to redefine what family actually means.
Is it blood?
Or is it behavior?
So Linda stays the night. She is safe, but she is devastated. She's mourning the loss of Daniel. But the story isn't over. The next morning brings a twist that, honestly, it feels like something out of a movie script, but it's real.
It's the twist that changes everything. Robert's in the kitchen. The phone rings.
He picks it up. He listens. And his face goes pale. He speaks in a low voice. And when he hangs up, Linda asks him what happened. And he just says, everything is fine.
But everything is not fine. The source material reveals what that call was about. The flight to Canada. The one Daniel was on.
A crash.
No, sir.
Pause on that for a second. Daniel scammed his mother, stole everything she owned, abandoned her at an airport to fly to a new life, and he never made it.
It is a moment of absolute cosmic irony. He sacrificed his mother for a future he never got to live.
But the real deep dive here isn't just about the crash. It's about Robert's reaction.
Oh.
Robert knows Daniel is dead. He knows the man who destroyed Linda's life is gone. But when he looks at Linda, he decides not to tell her.
This is the noble lie. Robert looks at this woman who has been broken into pieces. She is holding on to one tiny thread of hope that maybe Daniel is still alive, that maybe he will come back, that maybe there is an explanation.
And if Robert tells her he is dead, he snaps that last thread.
He decides that the truth would be too much for her to bear. She would have to mourn the son who betrayed her. That is a complex, heavy grief.
Right. If he tells her she has to plan a funeral for a thief, she has to deal with the media, she has to deal with the finality that he died running away from her.
By keeping the secret, Robert allows her to keep a version of her son that is flawed, but at least alive in her mind.
So he carries the burden of the truth, so she doesn't have to.
He protects her from the reality.
So what happens next? Linda stays with Robert and Olivia.
She does. And it's not just for a few days. She ends up living with them. Robert steps into the void that Daniel left. He becomes the son. He takes her to doctor's appointments. He buys her medicine. He sits with her in the evenings.
He does all the things Daniel promised to do but never did.
And Linda continues to pray for Daniel. She prays for her grandchildren. She lives in a reality where they are still out there somewhere in Canada. She has no idea she is praying for ghosts.
There is a quote near the end of the narrative that really stuck with me. Robert asks her one day if she ever thinks about her old house in Brighton, the one she was forced to sell.
And her answer is beautiful. She says, I already lost that house, but I found a new home here. And then she says this, Daniel was gone, but I got the son I truly deserved.
The son I truly deserved.
That is such a powerful statement of acceptance. She acknowledges the loss, but she celebrates the gain. She recognizes that Robert earned the title of son through his actions, while Daniel lost it through his.
And in a way, Robert's lie facilitates that peace. By not focusing on Daniel's death, Linda can focus on Robert's life.
It allows her to live in the present. If she knew the truth, she might be stuck in the past, just consumed by the tragedy of the crash. The lie allows her to move forward.
It's such a complicated ending. You have a new family unit formed out of a disaster. You have a mother who is loved and cared for, but it's all sitting on top of this massive secret.
It creates a paradox. Is a happiness based on a lie real happiness? Linda feels loved. She feels safe. Her subjective experience is positive. Does the objective fact that her biological son is dead change the validity of her current joy?
And Robert decided it doesn't, or at least he decided that the cost of the truth was just too high. It really makes you wonder about the nature of our own relationships. We put so much stock in biology. We assume that because someone is related to us, they have our best interests at heart.
And we assume that strangers are indifferent. But this story flips both of those assumptions completely upside down. The danger came from the bloodline. The salvation came from the stranger.
It's a testament to the fact that you can find family in the most unexpected places. Linda lost everything she thought defined her, But she found something, and someone completely new.
She found a home that wasn't made of bricks and mortar, but of kindness.
But I can't stop thinking about Robert's choice. And that is the question I want to leave all of you with today. We aren't here to judge, but we are here to wonder.
It's the ultimate what would you do scenario.
If you were Robert Miller,
Yeah.
do you tell her you are looking at a mother who has been betrayed and abandoned? You hold the knowledge that her son is dead. Do you value the cold, hard truth above everything else?
Right.
Do you tell her he is gone and just let her deal with that wreckage?
Or do you do what Robert did? Do you swallow that secret? Do you let her pray for a man who doesn't exist, just so she can keep a little bit of hope in her heart?
Is it an act of mercy to lie?
Mm.
Or is it a violation of her right to know?
It is a heavy question. And I don't think there is an easy answer. If he tells her, he might break her. If he doesn't, he is deceiving her every single day.
But looking at Linda at the end of the story, sitting in that kitchen, loved and safe, it's hard to argue with the result.
It is. Sometimes, perhaps, kindness is more important than accuracy.
A huge thank you to everyone for listening to this deep dive. This was a heavy one, but I think it's one that will stick with us for a long time.
Absolutely. It's a story about the worst of humanity and the best of it.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Take care of yourselves and maybe call your mom. Just don't ask her to sell her house.
See you next time.